Hello everyone, and welcome to Fableheim and ARIA Chronicle. We have played this game a lot, and very recently I defeated Ascension mode with all 10 runestones activated for the Necro Knight. And in that video I said that this was one of the most challenging things to do in ARIA Chronicle. And you might be wondering, well, then what is the other most challenging thing to do? That, my friends, is a mode that was added post-launch, a difficulty beyond hard mode, which we conquered using the Necro Knight herself. And that is Successor difficulty. The difficulty level worthy of a true Successor of Tarmogidia. Now, I'm going to do a Successor playthrough, but it's going to be very different than all other playthroughs. In normal mode, it was my very first time playing through. We did a wonky build. It was a blast, by the way. And I read everything. I even attempted to voice act some of it. It was all fun and dandy. In hard mode, I streamed it, and I mostly read stuff, kind of skipped through it a little bit. In Successor, we're going to skip all the story. There's a special button at the bottom right for skipping everything, and it just skips the whole freaking thing. So we're going to do that, and I'm only going to show main story quests and boss fight quests. I was originally planning on just playing through it myself and then doing all the elite fights in the arena, but part of what makes an RPG great, RPG of any kind, is progression. So you're going to see the very start of our little camaraderie all the way to the end when we die a horrible, painful death, I'm sure. So what is Successor difficulty? Successor difficulty is based on a hard difficulty with various challenge elements added. HP of standard monsters is increased by 5% for each level. HP of boss monsters is increased by 10% for each level. Harmful effect resistance to bosses is increased by 10%. Difficulty-specific patterns and skills of bosses and large monsters is added. And the probability of surprise attacks by enemy is doubled. The most important part here is the difficulty-specific patterns and skills. We saw some of this in the Ascension 10 runestone run, where each of the bosses and some of the large monsters like the trolls and the cultists, executioner specifically, had additional effects. And that's what's going to make this mode incredibly hard and unknown to me. So, without further ado, here we go.
You have elected the way of pain!
For those of you who had never seen ARIA before, this is probably not the best series to start on, but I will quickly TLDR what story is happening when it is. We are Princess ARIA, and as Princess ARIA, you get to choose any job that is available in the game. There are 2 hidden jobs that you cannot select here, but you can later change into them once you unlock them using the Potion of Fate. The Invoker, the Necro Knight, and the Amazon are all DLC classes. So if you're playing on the Switch, you get all these for free, I think. And if you're playing on PC, you have to pick them up. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to do for Successor ARIA, because let's be honest, it's going to have to be boring, tried and true. I don't think I can really get away with some of the absolute ridiculousness I've done in normal and hard. So my options were Warrior. They do a lot of damage. They're pretty good, durable. Rogue. They're pretty useful. I've actually never really utilized a Rogue too much. We had one. I guess we have one in normal mode. They're good. Just trust me. I thought about Priest. Priests are always good and reliable. I don't even know where Priest is on this thing. That one. I thought about Invoker. And I even tested out Invoker, and it was working pretty well. I'm probably going to use an Invoker, but I am devastated to report that Invoker ARIA does not do the jig. And that is a no-go for me. That breaks the deal of Invoker ARIA. I thought about Amazon. Amazons are the newest class to be added into ARIA, and they are bizarre and versatile. But they do not synergize well with the Invoker, who I plan on using. Because the Amazon is the only class in the game that can bounce between lanes via her shape-shifting ability. And some abilities can only be used in the back lane, some abilities can be used in the front lane. And the Invoker, who summons the 6th minion, Familiar, blocks the ability to jump between lanes, so there's some extreme counter synergies there. But we'll be playing as a character that has been with us in every run, who is so useful that I legitimately don't think you can do a serious ARIA run without it. And I wish I was talking about the Warlock. I love the Warlock so much. But I'm not. I'm talking about the Mage. The Mage is incredibly powerful, both support and offensively. And so that's what our ARIA is going to be. Now, I am going to skip every story, but I want to see what each class has their own unique dialogue right here. And I want to see what the Mage is, because I've never seen it before. A mage? I love reading books. I spent so much time in the library, which was the only natural I took an interest in magic. Mages are good at attacking enemy weak points using attribute magic. So they also have a variety of effective reinforcement skills. You made a wise decision. Yeah, they're very good. I suppose it's better for you to stand at the back. You'll have a hard time withstanding enemy attacks on the front line. It's true. Alright, that was the only dialogue we're reading. The rest of it's being skipped. For those who haven't seen the story of ARIA, like I said, the normal mode playthrough was a good example of it. But, brain, please. I already did summarize. We're here. No, I didn't. I was going to. We are Princess ARIA, and we are here on an expedition, a pilgrimage. Wow, this freaking hurts. A pilgrimage to become the true successor of the Tamagirian throne. Oh, we got overkill. Look at that bonus experience. And Tila is our wise guardian who is here protecting us to make sure we don't get into trouble. But of course, because this is a JRPG, we're totally getting into trouble. We're 100% getting into trouble. Goodbye, skip button. And the story is also pretty good. You may notice that we have a new friend with us. Wyvern. He is a story character, and he's a ranger. The reason he's here is because he finds us on the outskirts of the city. We stumbled upon something that was in the first room that I didn't point out at all. A totem. A cursed totem. And so, Yvonne's guiding us back to the nearby city, which will end up being our hub. All this TLDR. Now the ranger, Tila's a paladin, but we're going to see a lot of the paladins, so I don't really feel the need to talk about her much right now. Yvonne is a ranger, and the ranger is the only other class besides the mage which can reliably do elemental damage. As you can see, the mage here can not only do elemental damage of her choice, but she can apply elemental weapons so that, for example, Tila here could do elemental damage. It is so unbelievably good. I'm gonna try and get an overkill, a one-shot kill, an overkill, and a one-shot kill. That's called resource experience efficiency. Boom. I have thought about playing with the ranger as well, but I don't know, they're really just giant DPS bots. So, you know. We have leveled up. All characters have skills up to level 9 and talents up to level 9. For the Paladin is an interesting character. I ignored them a lot. In every run I've ignored them. But they are tremendous support houses. They do an insane amount of support, but I've also found they can do a metric shite ton of damage. So we'll be using Tila throughout this entire run, hopefully to great efficacy. As far as her talents are concerned, we only have March available, but it's a pretty darn good one. Killing enemies reduces cooldown of all skills by 1 and restores MP 2. And she just gets +2 physical attack all the time. It's very nice. For Aria, our mage, during battle recover MP +1 each turn from the influence of your overflowing knowledge. Yes. As far as the only available talent for her, if we land a crit hit, all allies recover 2 MP. There's also some French there. For the ranger, who's not long for this world, gain accuracy +20% when attacking backline enemies, and damage multiplier +30%. This is just good. The ranger has one of the better passive talents. Their first available talent is if an attack misses, get accuracy plus 50% crit rate plus 30% on the next turn. It sounds great. Now we're going to be heading to town, and we will be introducing ourselves to all of the locals, but none of that is important for what we're doing today. Now that we've assembled our full team, we return to the scene of the crime, which they now introduce the stamina bar, but that's not much of a concern for us. Well, not too much. Our team right now is mostly what I wanted. We are unfortunately surprised. We did read at the beginning that chance was doubled. Alas. Our team here is mostly what I wanted, as I said. I wanted the Invoker, for sure. Invokers are awesome. We have the Paladin, because we can't not have the Paladin. And we have the Druid, who is a support character that can do a little bit of defense/debuffing. Now, the Necro Knight, as awesome as the Necro Knight is not exactly something I wanted. And it only has a little bit to do with the fact that I've played the Necro Knight like 10 hours straight trying to beat the thing. The Ascension mode. But I wanted the Warrior instead of her for the raw DPS, but the Necro Knight also works because she can tank. Now, of course, Tila the Paladin is a tank within her own right, but Tila benefits from being at high health. That makes it so her heal does more. The Ordain. Ooh, look at that damage. The Invoker is a unique spellcaster. Besides the fact that he's the only summoner in the game, he also needs to channel Arcane Thirst before he can do anything. But he'll be far more useful in longer fights and as the game progresses. Around level 5, he starts to get more powerful, I believe. Is that what it is? 6, excuse me. Impatience lets him starts off with that. 5 lets him get an upgraded Arcane Thirst, which is pretty important as well. Courtesy of the Necro Knight, we have Blood Flow, so we're more powerful. We get that after we rested a thing. Thankfully to the Druid, we can also see the map. I hate playing without Druids. I hate blindly exploring the map. They're so good. Of course, our Aria in the normal mode playthrough was a Druid, so we always had a Druid with us. In normal mode, I had to wing in a little bit more. Just a little bit. But this team is going to get so much stronger as we level up. It's going to be glorious. There is a... Alley. There's also a minor reason that we began with Aria Mage. But that's kind of like a min-maxy thing to keep in the back of your mind. Don't worry about it for a little bit. It'll be fine. Look at that disgusting Paladin one-shot. Ugh. So basically my plan is to try and make the Paladin the super mega hyper carry. And I wanted the Warrior to be like a frontline support for her cause. The Necro Knight, I suppose, is also fulfilling that duty. Right now using the Bone Armor to draw additional aggro. But Bone Armor is nothing quite like Taunt. And it's nowhere near as potent as Counter. A good Counter? Now that's what the doctor ordered. So as much as I love the Necro Knight, if we can get rid of Frida in the near future, we will. Unfortunately, when you're recruiting for the first mission, you're not allowed to reroll the tavern, so what you get is what you get. I'm lucky enough to have gotten 2 of what I wanted. It could have been something annoying like a freaking priest. We did draw another paladin, so that was unfortunate. I do want to min-max all of my exploration. There will be some missions in the near future where I won't be able to do that, just because it's successor difficulty, but That's why this one needs to be maximized. More blood flow. They don't stack in efficiency, they like refresh their duration. Oops, didn't loot that. This is our first encounter with the cultists. They're introducing us to the main enemy, the main protagonist. Could you leave my girl alone, please? That would be great. Ah, blood weapons. These guys are really no big deal. Can I one-shot you? I sure can. Ah, Dila. I almost feel bad for neglecting you for as long as I did. Almost. Not quite, but almost. Using Thunderstorm reduces my chance of freaking one-shotting people, but... Bop. Electrocution makes it so people can't use skills, in case you didn't know. That freaking hurt. So we could ordain here and deal bonus healing. That is an exact kill. What damage is this? 3? I believe. I believe. Perfect. That wasn't an overkill. Damn. Got a bow, look at that. I did equip everyone with their armor. So we have 2 plates for the front line. We have a leather vest for our druid, and we have double shirts for our spellcasters. Nothing useful here. There's no point in going back, of course. I see you're still in the village. I see you're still a dick. I'm gonna look real quick if I can find a warrior. Look at this. Warrior. Hey, it's Fabian the myth. The legend himself. We could also use an exile in our front line, but I want to go with the warrior. I haven't really played with the warrior since they nerfed them. I discovered an absolutely ridiculous strategy. I wasn't the first to do it, by the way, but I didn't know about it. Warriors have this particular skill called indiscrimination, where they just randomly attack people. You can see here, there's a red text called crit rate minus 500%. Would you like to know why that's there? That's because there was a combo when the game first released with the mage, who is insane by the way, where the mage would use vacuum energy to guarantee the next attack crits. They would vacuum energy the warrior with an indiscrimination and crit and delete the screen. That's what happened. There's even a video of it on the channel, way back. But we've required now our full team. Fabian will be taking Frida's place, and life will be good. So I get to take off her armor now. So I'm just going to explain real quick the plan. Oh, I got one. Anyway. Two-handed is doing what I can do. I just want to explain real quick what the group plan is, and then I'll have to do a huge cut because I believe the next mission is a ways away. Thela is the front line. She is the hyper carry, which is so weird to say. As the paladin, she can deal an obscene amount of damage using passive buffs, and as you saw, Crusader Strike to deal bonus first blood damage. But she can also off support when needed through her heals, her resurrection, her auras, all sorts of disgusting things. Fabian the warrior is here to be the primary tank frontline boy. He'll be taunting when he can, and then activating counter once we get it, to counterattack anyone who hits him, dealing just a little bit of damage. You know, assuming. One of the reasons why the warrior is such a great tank, especially late game, is due to turn of the tables. Whenever he gets low on health, he can just pop this and basically full heal and then go absolutely insane. The warrior is just all around good, as you kind of would expect a warrior to be. Barzani, our invoker here, is kind of the jack of all trades, but he provides us with the familiar, which is a 6th body. This is the only way in ARIA to fill up your ranks and get a 6th person. The familiar is not exactly controllable. They kind of just do whatever they want, but they can do anything. They can attack, they can break enemy armor, they can heal your line, they can cleanse debuffs. The familiar is good, and just having that 6th person for an enemy to hit or that extra action point during your turn could mean the difference between victory defeat in the hardest difficulty of the game. Brahma, our druid here, is our primary support, who will also be contributing a little bit of debuffs via like Bushfire, Insect Swarm, and Thunderstorm. Also, Entangle is incredibly good. It is a one-line stun. We'll probably see a lot of this once we begin unlocking it. The druid, fun fact, is capable of doing an obscene amount of damage, precipitated by the Natural Disaster passive, which reduces his healing power. There's also a unique druid item you can get that further reduces his healing power and further increases their magical attack. So you can have an offensive druid, and I did in the normal mode playthrough. But today, he's here to full heal. And of course, Aria the mage. I shared a little bit of what makes the mage ridiculous with vacuum energy, but she'll be providing our elemental damage, both herself and giving it to Fabian and Tila, elemental defenses through elemental shield, and dunking on everybody with her ultimates. That is the plan. And now I believe I'm going to be doing some side quests. I think this is the only one I can do right now. But we'll be back whenever I take on either the boss or the main story. Probably do the main story first. That makes more sense. Remember how I said that it would probably be smart to do the main quest line before we do the boss? Well, I've decided that we're going to do the boss. We'll end the episode on the Wyvern, the first available boss in Aria. A Wyvern is terrorizing the villagers. Defeat the Wyvern and put the villagers at ease. This is a level 3 boss with a short mission, so it should be nice and sweet. I did do the mining quest, which is a repeatable quest. I ended up doing it twice because Fabian is, of course, lagging behind. Fabian the Dragon Slayer. So I had to get him to level 3 somehow. That unfortunately brought Tila to level 4, which is part of what precipitated me doing this first. I don't want to over-level the boss. The whole point of this series is for you to see the progression. We're going to be fighting the bosses around about when they're supposed to be fought. We'll challenge, we'll struggle, we're fucking Battle Knights, and we'll go from there. I suppose I should break down real quick. Please stop talking. I was supposed to break down real quick what our current equipment load is. Tila has no weapon. She has a shield, the basic armor, and an accuracy ring. I did make the waistguard fur, which gives her 2% evasion and 1 physical attack. The attack is, of course, more important here than the evasion. Fabian only has defensive stuff. I guess the Copperrine's accuracy. But he's ready to stand on the front line and not die. Hopefully. Our poor Invoker has nothing. Just some shabby clothes. Brahma. I did make the blue orb for Brahma, but he also only has armor. As the druid, it's not... I mean, effect chance is amazing for a druid, and ult charge is something that I always collect on the back line if I can. But this is mostly just to make his heals better. And Aria, our princesa. I found a stick to give her, I made a blue orb for her, and I gave her some speed sandals we found. Aria going fast is not, like, the most important thing in the world. But if she goes faster than everyone else, it does allow her to apply shields and weapons and all sorts of stuff. So, wow, what a terrible little corner to find ourselves in. Thankfully, this is a little short area, so even if I get lost, as is usually the case, we aren't going to be too screwed. Without the Necro Knights, we do not need to sit at a fire before the boss. We just need to make sure that we have as much health as possible. Ah, yes, this is the ultimate tutorial. Tila is the one who has reached level 4. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, why can you select ultimate? Tila's the only one who's level 4, so she's the only one who has access to that. I'm actually going... Am I doing this? Sure. Wow, okay. We're going to taunt with Fabian and put him in defense, and the reason is because I want to do that. It wasn't that impressive in the end. But of course, Tila, the paladin, does bonus damage when something's at full health, so I didn't want Fabian to hit it and ruin that. But who knows, maybe he should have. Well, Insect Swarm. Ooh, we hit the blind and the bleed. That's why taunt is good. What does this aggro increase? Ow! 400%. I don't know how to feel about the fact that that was a 400% taunt. And he still went after Brahma. Unfortunately, Arya as a mage doesn't have her powerhouse abilities yet. But don't worry, they're coming. Ow. We'll be seeing the familiar very soon, so he's not really needed. Lives at 3. Do I heal or do I stun? The fire, how much is the fire going to do? Oh, is that lethal? We're going to find out. Does the regen or the fire tick first? Place your bets. The regen. Okay. I hate Fearful. I'm actually surprised. But hey, I probably should have pointed out that troll as a large monster had a special buff, which was kinda bullshit. The reason he had 6 regen is because of his special Successor only buff that gave him bonus regen every turn or something. I should heal before we move on. That's what I should do. Yep. Tinker wanted to join us, so I have brought her in. Okay. She wishes to join us for the great glory. It is the Aria Successor run. There's some crackling happening. Whoa! Okay. Now we're talking. The Bronze Sword. 2 attack power, 1 accuracy, and 10% crit rate. This can actually be given to our warrior, our paladin, our mage. That's it. Okay. But, of course, Dilla is doing a lot of our DPS, and you'll see why she is our primary DPS very soon. We're gonna need her assistance. It was a deeply moving novel that influenced... Who got that? Barzani. Does the Invoker's healing power influence the Familiar's healing power? If so, this could be good. Some of these traits are not particularly great for what we have. Such as Impatient here for Fabian. In fact, I might just dump this. I hate it when people act alone. I have a plan, video game. Please allow me to enact said plan. Also, I saw this during my adventures. Bonfires, which we're sitting at right now, are said to protect travelers from Dark Souls. Though apparently these fires used to be the souls of demons. The developer's quite a fan of Dark Souls, obviously. Demon Souls as well. In the art book, I believe the main dev says that Dark Souls is one of his favorite games. Which I totally believe. Although, of course, he put a fish in there instead of a sword. It's a nice little touch that... Oh, I should have gone one more. I wanted a full heal after all the fights, and I thought we were done, but... Wow. It's a nice fight that... nice fight. Nice touch that the fish heals. Heals. Is consumed. There we go. These little shints. They're too small to get a special Successor buff, but... Wow. Okay. Pretty uncommon for all of the hits to go on one person. You don't. Let's get away for the front line. Do. Ow. One shot. Aww. Overkill. Hey. Always want those bonuses. I was like, in the mining quest, I was just farming the one-shot kills by going on break with everyone. I would just defend until it was Tila's turn, and she would one-shot them. Then I would defend until it was Tila's turn, and she would one-shot them. The main way I did that was March allowed me to ignore cooldown. Also, because she's level 4, she opened up her second talent, and I picked up Deterrence. So every time an enemy receives a buff, which happens so frequently in Successor, Tila will get +2 light attack and +2 healing power. And a lot of her stuff scales off of light damage. Crusader Strength Dance, Divine Spear, Hammer Punishment, Judge... They all scale off light. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I could have just gone, I didn't need to heal at all. This is why you always explore before you start doing things. But at least we got our mana back. Also, fun fact, there is a... I hesitate to call it a secret boss, but there's a boss that is summoned by interacting with a bunch of honeycombs. And you can totally miss her. In my hard playthrough, I didn't spawn her because I just ignored them. I was like, I'm not going to spend freaking energy on this. Okay, so here's the reason why Tila is an amazing, and Paladin in general, amazing DPS. They have an ult called Incarnation, which is a free action that gives them 5 speed, 10 accuracy, 10 crit rate, 50% damage multiplier, 30% effect chance, 50% harmful effect resistance, 50% max HP, and armor +3. That's a lot. Then they can combine this with another self buff that they get later. We, I believe, don't have that. We do. Oh, do I combine it? How long does this last? 3 rounds. We're going to Crusader Strike first because the boss is still at full hit points, so we'll get the bonus of this. The Wyvern is one of the easiest, it's the first boss, so it's like the easiest boss in the game. But their Successor ability is Phlegmatic Skin, which is a permanent self-buff, and whenever someone hits them with a melee attack, it triggers poison. And they themselves are immune to poison. Bop, 34. Poison is different in ARIA compared to most games, in that it just insta-kills you when the duration runs out. So we're going to need to keep that, in mind. What do I do here? I think I counter. Okay. This is pretty bold to taunt after I've used attack stance and reduced my own physical resistance, but I have a plan. Aria now has access to elemental shields, which do that. They give bonus armor, and whenever someone hits them, they take damage of the specific elements. The Wyvern is weak to ice and lightning, mega weak to lightning. But guess who we have? Lots of sources of lightning. Owie. I'm just gonna have to make sure I cleanse the front line. So now we're going to Sacred Fire. This combined with the Incarnation is disgusting. This gives the Paladin 5 accuracy, 5 crit rate, 40% damage multiplier, but they cannot use any abilities. So we are cutting off her support while it lasts. At the end of the buff, it says explode, inflicting those buffs on enemies, but I don't think it actually buffs them. I think it just deals damage. So, you know, there's that. Ooh. Armor break. And then I'm going to... We can Mirage him as well to give him a 30% chance to dodge. But it cancels itself when taken. So we'll Lightning Weapon him as well. Then we're going to have to start doing some actual support things. This is the Arcane Familiar, the first time we're seeing him. We're going to see a lot of this. A lot. I'm hoping the warrior doesn't die. Using Charm from the druid, I not only removed the poison, but I made it less likely to be affected with increased harmful effect resistance. So now, Tila should be impossible to poison. Boom. Resisted. Ah, it's doing that dragon thing where it flies. Do not stun me. Okay. It has increased invasion in the sky. But do I care? Do I care? Not particularly. No. See, perfect. I knew I shouldn't have cared. I think I'm actually going to use one of my healing potions here. My weaker healing potions. Because our druidic friend, Brahma, is going to have to do that. My familiar is poisoned. How is my familiar made of gaseous arcana? Poisoned. Yep, we exploded. See, he didn't get a buff. It was just damage. So now, what we're going to do with Aria is we're going to... Dila, not Aria. Is Aura of Healing. Every turn, this heals our friends. Well, every move, I should say. Not for a tremendous amount, of course, but, you know, it's an amount. We are taunted for one more round. So I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in defensive stance. I know, shock. I'll re-up the counter, and the next turn we can retaunt. It is once again ultimate time. But Dila is the only one who can do it. Ah, the beauty of being here early. The ultimate for the Invoker is really cool. Wave of regen to heal the backline. So the Familiar is completely uncontrollable. I mentioned this earlier. But that was its line heal, you just saw. It looks like it's about to die. I could actually save it. Alright, time to Incarnation. Paladins are mega mana intensive. We're once again Sacred Firing as well, and we're just gonna slap. That's it. We're into slap. Retaunting on our warrior, who is just here to kill and have a good time. The increased evasion is still in play. Thought that electrocution brought you down to the floor, but that's alright. That's probably for the breath thing. You know, dragons do that too. You have lightning weapon, you have lightning shield. Shall we give our DPS this? What's your stun resist? 37%. So we can YOLO a stun here. We have a 48% chance to stun. Not like I can do much else with this. This persists for only one action. You know what? Here we go. Yeah, didn't roll it. And instead of healing or anything, we'll just make sure our Familiar continues to do stuff. Owie. So that's even with the 400% aggro here. If we're going to want Fabian to do... Wow! Alright. Break beneath the endless tide. This is... The counter strategy is somewhat similar to what we did in hard or normal mode. Ooh. What are those traits? The Traveler's Robes, plus 4 max HP, plus 1 max armor, and 10% effect chance. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Look at it. They've all leveled up. Okay, that one's fine. That one's actually an exceptionally good trait. We also reached level 4, so... We have lots of options here, but I'll look at this off camera. Unfortunately, you often wind up being the one attacked. You have a 10% chance of being attacked in place of an ally. For a character that is meant to tank, this... Mwah. Supreme. Marvelous. Could not ask for a better one. These three, we'll just have to think about that a little bit. But anyway, let's go turn in our quest. And I wanted to show you our particular reward if the game will let me. Hello, we did the thing. Yep. Skip. No? Not doing the thing? Okay, I guess I have to do the main quest first. The black market shows up and I can exchange that token for useful things. But we'll do that next time. As well as, you know, I'll bring you up to date and we'll do the other main quest. This is the first episode. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and that you're looking forward to the Successor difficulty. Again, this series will be focused entirely on the progression of the game, so it's going to move a lot faster than the previous series, and we'll only focus on the main quests and the boss quests. So I hope you look forward to that. Let me know if you have any elite strategies or pro tips that you would like to share. Thank you to the patrons and channel members who help support the channel. I greatly appreciate you. And to anyone who would like to stay up to date with everything happening on the channel, feel free to join the Discord in the description down below. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye!